held where they were previously suspended due to hitches, including violence, for which the exercise was declared inconclusive. And speaking on condition of anonymity, an INEC source said over 2,000 beavers would be reconfigured and some new beavers to replace the stolen or damaged machines during the 2023 general elections. Ahead of Saturday, April 15 supplementary elections in Port Harcourt's 2 and Gokana federal constituencies, the state INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Johnson Sinikiem disclosed that the election would commence by 8:30 a.m. in the LGAs and registration areas. Sinikiem further disclosed that election would be held in Kana wards 4 and 7 across 42 polling units. He added that the election in Port Harcourt would be held in 377 polling units within wards 5, 10 and 28 respectively. The Lamidi Apapa-led leadership of Labour Party on Tuesday announced that it had commenced screening of aspirants for Imo, Bayelsa and Kogi state governorship elections. Recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission had fixed November 11 for the conduct of the 3 governorship elections. Among Monday's screened aspirants were Udengs Eradivi, Chief Ikechukwu Ukaibu, Ikechi Ike, Senator Neji Achono, Chief Diekivie Ihiogla, Abu Enemona, Ari Marshall Isaac Afia from Kogi State, among others. Addressing journalists briefly before the screening commenced on Tuesday in Abuja, the party's acting chairman, Apapa, said that the total number of candidates to be screened from the 3 states was 24. Chinwoke Mbadinuju, a former governor of Anambra State, has died at the age of 78. His death was confirmed in a statement by his first son, Chetachi Mbadinuju, on Tuesday. Mr. Chetachi, a lawyer, said the former governor passed on peacefully on Tuesday morning at the National Hospital Abuja after a brief illness. He said the family would announce his funeral arrangement in due course. Mbadinuju was governor of Anambra State between 29 May 1999 and 29 May 2003 under the PDP. And the Abia State Governor-elect Dr. Alex Oti has announced a list of distinguished professionals and technocrats as members of the Transition Council ahead of his formal assumption of office on May 29, 2023. In a statement issued on Tuesday by the Council's Secretariat, the Transition Council stated that the committee will help to articulate a policy document that would forge a direction and developmental agenda for Abia in line with his vision for Abia State. The council will be chaired by Victor Onyempa, partner and chief operating officer KPMG, and co-chaired by Ifweko Omogui of Kauru, former executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The council will be inaugurated on Friday, April 14, 2023 by the governor-elect in Abia State. On the foreign scene, the United Nations said it was being forced into making an appalling choice after instructing all of its personnel in Afghanistan to stay away from its offices in the country following the Taliban's ban on female Afghan aid workers. And UN national personnel, through a statement, have been instructed not to report to UN offices with only limited and calibrated exceptions made for critical tasks. It comes after Afghan men working for the UN in Kabul stayed home last week in solidarity with their female colleagues. And several female UN staff in the country had already experienced restrictions on their movement since the Taliban seized power in 2021, including harassment and detention. And in sports, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has admitted his admiration for Erling Haaland and claimed comparison with the Manchester City star can only inspire him to become a better player. The Nigerian has scored 21 goals in 23 league appearances for Napoli this season. And Norway international Haaland leads the scorers chart in the Premier League with 30 goals. Osimhen revealed that he has been following Haaland's progress right from when he was at Borussia Dortmund. Osimhen, who is currently nursing a muscle injury, has been ruled out of Napoli's UEFA Champions League clash against AC Milan today.
Trending stories, breaking news, fast. News Light on Rapid 96.5 FM.
Now you can go global rapidly. You can listen to us from anywhere in the world at www.rapidfm965.com. Plus, you can get social and follow us on Twitter. Now you can go global rapidly. You can listen to us from anywhere in the world at www.rapidfm965.com. Plus, you can get social and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms at Rapid965FM.
Rapid965FM.
On WhatsApp, it's 091 60 333 965.
From Umuahia, Nigeria, Rapid FM 96.5, the sound of your city. It is 96.5. It is Rapid.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. This is beyond partisan politics. It's unfortunate. And these are the kind of people who say they are leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with the happenings in the polity.
Nigeria is on drink and on oxygen. And how can we get out of this?
I am an employer of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of his family. And he must protect me.
Standpoint. The center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM, Umahia.
More Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, the 12th day of the month of April, the year of our Lord 2023. And you are listening to Rapid 96.5, the sound of your city. And this is Standpoint. Yes, another day to get conversational as we continue to keep our ears to the ground and our searchlights beamed on developments across the country. Yesterday was pretty interesting as we delved into the lingering matter of fuel subsidy. And of course, we had an economist in the person of Fred Ezeako as our guest who shed a whole lot of light as far as the subject of subsidy. But I think the most discussed matter is the fact that the federal government, under the current administration led by Muhammadu Buhari, has already put into action its bid to secure $800 million as palliative for the removal of subsidy. And there's a whole lot of debate in the polity as far as the subject of the fuel subsidy is concerned. But today, we will be leaving the energy sector and delving into matters of legislature. Yes. Should the tenure of national and state assembly members be cut down like that of the president, governor's tenure, to avoid recycling of lawmakers that make laws for the country? This will become the conversation, or this will be the conversation this morning. Should the tenure of national and state assembly members be cut down like that of the president, governors, just to avoid recycling of lawmakers that make laws for the country? Big question. Hopefully, I will be joined at some point by Comrade Fabian Agba, the frontline human rights and labor leader and retired permanent secretary of the Imo State. He will be joining us via telephone, and we will be having that conversation virtually. Don't forget, as always, we are live and interactive as far as the show is concerned. We are streaming live on all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Rapid965. And of course, on Twitter, it's at Rapid965. And on Instagram, it's at Rapid965FM. So feel free to be part of our growing online community as we delve into today's subject. Should the tenure of national and state assembly members be cut down like that of the president and governors in a bid to avoid recycling lawmakers that make laws for the country? Now, to completely understand the matter at hand, there is the need for us to look at the bigger picture. Yes, the bigger picture. Now, the legislature is a creation of law and a significant component of political administration under different political systems and models. Now, while the law appears to set down clear legal principles governing the roles of the legislature, its relationship with other arms of government, the election of lawmakers, the exercise of legislative powers, and the tenure, yes, the tenure of lawmakers, the role of politics in the practical application of legal guidelines, particularly on the question of the tenure, cannot be overlooked. Yes. The mandate of tonight's show, or this morning's show, I beg your pardon, is to explore and to examine the law, political intrigues surrounding the tenure of lawmakers in Nigeria, and different ways by which a lawmaker may lose his office prior to the end of a legislative tenure. Now, the position, hopefully, that we will achieve at the end of this conversation is going to be very stringent and difficult to actualize in practice. Now, it's a good one for the Nigerian democracy, while the constitutional provision on defection should be made more stringent in order to guide against political instability that the present state of law on defection may occasion. However, any attempt to simplify the process of recall, on the other hand, may be counterproductive and may become a dangerous weapon in the hands of desperate politicians and defected political opponents. So, we will take a quick breather, and when we return, we will look at what the Constitution says in regards to the tenure of the legislature at all levels. Just to give us an insight, trust me, anyone that knows me knows I am a fan of the law and the instruments of the law. So we will test those instruments this morning, and hopefully with my guest, we'll be able to look at some lacunas, as my learned colleagues would like to call it, or gray areas as far as the law is concerned.
onye nke m cherekwa ka m gwa gị o ebe ọwụ na Konak Foundation efurula ntụtụta n'ahụ ka dịrịrị ọhaneze mma ha ejikọ n'aka ha na ndị Faith Care USA iwetara ọhaneze nke a ndị oyibo na-akpọ free medical outreach agwọmọrịa n'efu ewo anya ọ na-eme gị pinyo pinyo ezo na-akụ gị komkom ị nọ na njikere maka owo agwọm ụmụaka enyemọgwụ nakwa ndị a ga-eme operation n'efu na ndị ọzọ ọnụrụ karịa ibe ya o nke a ga-adị site n'ụbọchị 22 ruo na Sunday ụbọchị 29 nke ọnwa April 2023 na Madonna Hospital Aba Road Umuahia Abia State ọnụrụ karịa ibe ya o echefukwala na ndị niile a ga-eme operation n'efu ga-abịacha na Sunday ụbọchị 22 maka nnwale site na elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ ruo kweri na elekere 12 nke ehihie nke awụkwa free of charge o fee osi chai ngwa kọtụrụ anyị n'ekwentị na 091-324-44444 ma ọ bụrụ na ị nwere ihe mgbagwoju anya nke ọbụla. Konak Foundation nakwa Faith Care USA ịgbanwe ndụ nakwa mgbasi ike ọhaneze.
Celebrating your family and friends has become cheap like a cup of tea, easy as ABC, and rapid like it should be. You can send birthday greetings and goodwill messages on Rapid FM for just 1,000 naira. Other events like weddings, child dedication, housewarmings, religious and government functions go for even less, 500 naira. Now, your loved ones have no excuse not to celebrate you rapidly on your day because all they have to do is visit our website at www.rapidfm965.com/request or call 07049 220965.
My guy, which kind of paint have you used? We go make my house go well.
Nah, Sackloss paint.
Paint we go make my house shine.
Sackloss paint.
What about paint we go last for plenty years?
Nah, still Sackloss paint. Sackloss paint. Now, Ubunga paint when done with both national and international award on top paint matters.
I beg, where them day?
Them 10 nationwide. Sackloss paint gets one Ubunga what they call Sackloss satin paint. If dirty touch the paint, you will use water and soap take clean and charger. Sackloss paint get other ones like emulsion paint, test coat, gloss, sack flash car paint, matte, industrial marine coating, red oxide primer, aluminium, screening paint, auto varnish, and other Barbares products. For that correct building, paint when you need na Sackloss paint. Their price na shipping. For more information, call
0701 855 2224.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. This is beyond partisan politics. It's unfortunate. And these are the kind of people who say they are leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with the happenings in the polity.
Nigeria is on drip and on oxygen. And how can we get out of this?
I am an employer of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of his family. And he must protect me.
Standpoint. The center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM, Umahia.
More Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, well, this is Standpoint on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city. I am Kamian John, the beloved, also known as the controversial. And at the start of the show, I did say that today we will be trying to prefer an answer or some answer to the question of should the tenure of national and state assembly members be cut down while that of the president, like that of the president and the governors, to avoid recycling of lawmakers that make laws for the country. My guest joining me this morning via phone, virtually, is Comrade Fabian Agba. He is the frontline human rights and labor leader and a retired permanent secretary for the Imo State Civil Service. Good morning, Comrade. It's nice to have you join us on Standpoint this morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And happy Easter in arrears.
Same to you.
Right. Now, Comrade, the subject of the tenure of the legislature, almost at all levels, has been a constant subject of discussion. There has been a whole lot of confusion as to the laws that establish the tenure itself, and two, the subject of defection, how it affects the tenor of lawmakers, and then the subject of thirdly, the subject of the tenor itself, the need for elongation or the need to even reduce the tenor as we know it today. How do you how do you approach all of this this kind of hydra-headed dilemma? Hello, comrade.
Hello, yeah.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, the tenor shouldn't be fixed.
The tenor shouldn't be fixed. Why?
Yes, thinking of the type of job they do. You see, a governor is a different kettle of fish. The governor is supposed to execute the laws. Forget that our governors have been going beyond the law and doing whatever they like. So the governor is restricted.
So,
the governor has a lot of power.
Yes.
That if he's abusing it, then you need somebody who can call him to order. Like, for instance, the health assemblies here have been changed by the governors. And the only way that they can be called to order is by fixing their tenureship.
Okay. Now,
and usually in democratic governments, the head of state tenure are fixed. But that of the legislature, I'm not aware of any country that has the tenureship fixed any other time. It may be their one or two or three, but I don't know of any.
But what? Yeah.
The issue is this: the sovereignty of the country, the sovereignty of any government belongs to the legislature.
Okay.
Not to the executive. Because it's the law that guides both the executive, the legislature, and everybody. And so the more experienced the man who makes the rules is, the better for the organization or the country or the state.
Okay.
And the legislator is supposed to be very close to the people. There should be occasional elections, which is there already. So if he's not satisfying the people, if he's close to them, they can always change it. But if he's doing the work well, why should you change it? And, you know, a governor is remote, a president is remote.
But the legislature is not.
The legislature is supposed to be. In fact, in many places that I know of, they are part-time. So they live with the people, do the normal business other people do, and go to represent them. And representing them is not going to go and attract amenities or that. It is going to go and make the laws that will guide everybody for the good of the society. But what has happened in our society now, which is making people demand that it should be cut short, is that when they go there, they start talking about transformers, sharing of roads, not even lawmaking, and the sharing of constituency money and this, and they overpaid. And in full time, in fact, they become a class of their own, which is unfortunate. Because a legislator should be part and parcel of the people he's representing. They should be able to get easy access to him at any time of the day. At any season in, season out, they should be able to get to him. Okay. But the governor can be remote, the head of state can be remote.
Now, Comrade Fabian, you've pointed out a whole lot of things. You've talked about the fact that the executive, using the example of a governor, that governors are so powerful, and that the tenor of the legislature should not be predetermined, you know, but that unfortunately, in the case as we have here in Nigeria, they are rather than make laws, they are getting involved in things that naturally, if they put the proper systems and structures in place, the executive will be held accountable to deliver on those the dividends of democracy. Now, I want to ask.
That's why people are struggling for it. Now, because if it's a very big law, you can even invite somebody, say, come and be a legislator, and say, no, I'm not cut for that.
Now, that's
why. Not every human being that would like to be a doctor despite the prestige. Not every human being that would like to be a lawyer, despite the nobleness of the profession.
True.
So, but in this particular case, when it is simply coming, he has no yardstick. You don't go to perform the job, you just enroll and join in the looting. Well, people will say, when you take small, make you give a record that takes small. But should that be the essence? Should that be the idea? The idea should be go and make rules that will make this society a better place to live in. Not for yourself, but for everybody.
Okay.
Because having a government is to have law and order, so that everybody doesn't do whatever he likes. Like if you can drive on any side of the road you like, don't you think it will be too difficult getting to work every morning?
True. Very true.
If the people will build wherever they like, don't you think that it will be too difficult even having pathways? Because somebody can build across the road. And if it is issue of do whatever you like, some people will grab others on the road, take whatever they labor for, and will not labor themselves and simply go and lavish it and look for that person to grab. Like virtually what is coming into Nigeria now. The terrorists are now another part of the government. But if we have good laws and people, because there are too many mix-ups in this country, the governors have become legislators. The security people have become politicians. There are certain statements the legislators of the security people will issue, say, who is talking? Statements meant for the Attorney General are issued by either director of DSS or the Commissioner of Police. These things were not like this before in Nigeria. They are innovative, but they are aberrations that should be stopped.
Okay. Now let me ask this question. In most, you also highlighted it that the job of a legislature for a legislator should be a part-time thing. This is a person that naturally should be in the midst of the people, live with the people, should be accessible at every point in time. But what we have seen in Nigeria is that politics has become a profession. So I ask, is politics a profession or is it supposed to be a pastime?
It's supposed to be a service. But in Nigeria, we have corrupted the presidential system of government. In the presidential system, the party does not govern. And the party does not govern in Nigeria. But to fool the Nigerians, they talk about the ruling party. Does APC control Buhari?
Okay, so where did we get it wrong? Because you hear politicians say the party reigns supreme, especially when you hear politicians from the PDP. They always use that phrase, the party reigns supreme. So if the party is not what it is not supposed to run the country, so what is the proper structure that we're supposed to expect? Because the new administration is about to take over May 29th. I think this is the time that Nigerians should be able to insist that proper structures should be put in place so that there will be proper accountability in terms of the leadership and running of the country.
You see, the founding fathers of this country run the parliamentary system of government, which is the parliament governs, which means the party governs, because it is he who appears to command majority of the membership of the parliament that becomes the head of service.
Okay.
I mean, that becomes the head of government.
Yes.
They suddenly, during the military, they felt that to unify the country, which I think it has helped in dividing the country the more. Because sometimes theories are better tested before you start applying them.
Yes.
Because if you apply them before testing them, you might get more problems than you anticipated. So in Nigeria, the military thought that to unite the country, that it is better to move to the presidential system of government. The presidential system of government, the president is in charge of the executive. He's not in charge of the legislature. He's not in charge of the judiciary.
Yes.
But coming from the parliamentary heritage, we are running a parliamentary government with a presidential constitution. And this is the problem.
So what we have is a hybrid.
Yes, it's a hybrid that is not formalized as a hybrid. It's a hybrid that the politicians have been adjusting every day as they like. For instance, in many states, the governor gets himself involved in payment of money to people. What is the decision there? Because even in the ordinary town union, the town union chairman does not control the town union treasurer, does he?
It doesn't.
Does he do the job of the town union secretary? But over here, our governors are taking the job of deciding who to pay and who not to pay, even things that are called charges on the constitution.
Yes.
I mean on the consolidated fund, like pension and approved salaries and salary of judges. The governors are defaulting.
Yes.
It's a new phenomenon in Nigeria. It wasn't there before. So the more critical thing is, how do we tame the governors?
But there are laws. But there are laws that make it necessary for the governors to pay salaries, pay pensions,
yes. But they are disobeying it because they have changed the law.
So who is supposed
to? Happening to them.
So is the legislature not supposed to uphold those laws and find the governors accountable or defaulting, as the case may be, and make them face the long arm of the law?
You see, under the parliamentary system, the job was shared into two. The state is represented by the governor. The premier is the head of government. But when the two things were merged, privileges that belonged to the governor when he was non-partisan, His Excellency and were still transferred to this man. And being not properly schooled in the system and understanding what should happen, he's gone now and destroyed it. Even, let me tell you, like the civil service. When I was in the civil service, we did not talk about getting approval from the governor once a budget is passed.
Okay.
Each ministry has its head and subhead. So when you hear about local government independence, judicial independence, the last ministry I headed was Ministry of Agriculture. It votes for the directors, they will initiate the expenditure and will oversee that the rules are not broken. The governor is not involved. But these days, the governor, in fact, budget is now a ceremonial thing. The governor will go and read the budget, which he doesn't prepare. Budgets are prepared by the state, different departments. Just like the budget for making a soup in the house is prepared the woman who will make this soup. You know, what the husband does is approve or disapprove some ideas. Or even to change, we won't take this type of soup, we'll take this other. But today now, the husband, the woman, when he's making the soup, will come to the husband and say, okay, what amount of salt do I put? When do I put it? And all that. And you see, what he now does is that the governors are not doing their jobs like governor, which is given to them in Section 5 of the Constitution.
Okay.
But being winner take or jack of all, he's just a liability to the society. To me, that is the way I look at them. Except few of them that are properly educated, that will ask for questions before they do things. Even under the military, we were independent to spend the money. I remember a military governor, the man who taught him in Udimo was even the man from Abia State. Okay, he said, okay, bring me that money, bring me. Okay, they say, Your Excellency, you cannot have any more money. He said, hey, am I not in charge of this government? He said, yes, you are. But the budget you made, you didn't give yourself all that money. If you like, go and do the budget. But as things are concerned, this money, you cannot have it. And that was it. But now the present system, even they have polluted it. You know, we no longer have serious civil service in the country. They are now using political hangers on to administer the place.
Wow.
Okay, when a man will appoint
as we speak, the civil service structure in the country is almost non-existent.
Okay, when a man will appoint about, yes, they are just on their own. They are not regulated. They pocketed the houses because in the first place, under the 1999 Constitution, they thought they would save money by limiting the number of members of the House. Instead of thinking having enough people to represent the people. I think in Nigeria you have only 18 members. And so the appointee of governors is about 10 times that. And so they can police them very effectively. And their impeachment requires 2/3 of the membership to impeach them. And if you have 18 members, you require 12. If the governor can corrupt 6 members plus 1, can you impeach him? And so the whole thing is that the system has been abused. And I expect the National Assembly to stop all this time they are wasting and make laws on how to control the governors. Because it does not mean that anything that is not in the Constitution cannot become a law in a country. The Constitution is simply the grand norm that defines what happens between different offices and the responsibilities of those offices.
Yes.
But they are not doing that. Instead, they are chasing shadows. Like the other time, I understand the president now has signed into the Constitutional Amendment local government autonomy. I don't know whether you had that too, like me.
Yes.
Okay? You know the present Constitution guarantees local government autonomy.
It does.
Because in Section 7, it is said a democratically elected local government is hereby guaranteed. Which means this appointment, and the Supreme Court has had a number of decisions on that the interim administration of local governments are illegal. But the governors are still doing it. You see, the thing that the governors are like, I don't know, do I say a mad dog that has broken his group and nobody is able to catch it? Now everybody is afraid and they are doing whatever they like.
No, but why is everybody afraid? If the Supreme Court has given judgment severally on subjects relating to the autonomy of local governments, and governors are breaching or are in contempt of that judgment, shouldn't they be shouldn't the law naturally apprehend them?
Okay, let me tell you one of the things that we are having suffering now in Nigeria. Before, in this country, the newspapers were still realizing the Constitution and people were knowledgeable about what they hold. You may not believe me that many of your parliamentarians do not even have a copy of the Constitution. And that some governors have never had that there's a Constitution. And so we are...
So what instrument are they governing with if the governors do not have an idea or even know what the Constitution says? And then you have lawmakers who have never taken the trouble to acquaint themselves with the Constitution. So what instruments of law are they governing with?
What is in their head, their whims and caprices. Let me give you a most recent example. The president of this country put Nigeria into terrible torture and destroyed the economy of Nigeria, which is supposed to protect, through what they call cashless economy, which has been in the world for over 5 centuries. And cashless, the cash currency redesign, which this country has even done so many times. But what they actually did was appropriating people's funds. Because I'm afraid even the banks may soon collapse. You put your money in the bank, you cannot take it back. Every family will say, don't give it back to the person. Give him warm water, don't give him at all. There were cases of people who came to the bank, put in money, wanted to withdraw their little money. They were not given, and they went back there and went naked. I believe you have some of those stories too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When the state governors that took it to court took it, now that the Supreme Court appears to be getting some confidence a little, they now had the courage to say that the president disobeyed the Constitution because in doing such policy that the people he was supposed to consult, he didn't consult them. If the president knew he was to consult some people, and this is when civil service was civil service, of course, the civil service would have told him that, Your Excellency, you can't do that. It's against the rules. But they have suppressed the civil service. I say, I don't know how many special advisors and assistants you have in India. But when a man appoints advisors, more than 10, can you listen to all of them? But you have the appointed, some people up to 300. They are simply putting their political ease into office and paying them with public funds and assigning and giving them responsibility, not assigning but delegating. But if you read the Constitution says you assign responsibility to commissioners. The commissioner should be in charge fully. You know, the executive council meeting, I don't know what is happening in Abia, but I hear here extended into ESCO.
Yes.
If you read this correct constitutional provision, the Constitution says the governor will meet regularly with the district governor and commissioner of state. He didn't add any other person. And once anything is written, you are not supposed to have addition. And even in normal governance, because I had the privilege of serving in one of the governor's executive council during Zubaro's time, the less the number, the better the protection of your secrets.
True.
How can you say you're having an executive council meeting with over 100 people? Can you think of secrecy there? And what exercise are these people coming? You know, Nigeria has a problem. But the issue is that in those old days, the university people will be discussing these things. In clubs, they will be discussed. Newspapers will be involved in the discussion. People will write letters to the press and all that. But these days, lecturers are selling handouts. When I went to university, the lecturer will be bringing you to come and to borrow his books and read. He will even come and borrow your own. I know my former supervisor, my professor, who died holding one of my books. But this is, I don't know how the country leaders became this bad. It is the military interregnum that made people lose interest in their own affairs. Okay, you saw what happened in the last election. I'm sorry that I'm bringing in too many things.
They're all connected one way or the other.
People voted massively in the presidential one. And say because somebody didn't behave well, that they will not vote again. And there was apathy. And they were coming in as stragglers and gave the other people opportunity to start attacking them. And so you had a sham worse than the one of the 18. Because if you consider yourself a citizen, the right to vote is your right. And if somebody is trampling with it, or what you should be doing is you can't trample with my rights. When people surrender, say, as if they are being conscripted to vote, as if they have to be paid to exercise their civic responsibility. Okay, look at the most recent one now they are dealing with P2B. People are discussing what P2B said. Is it bad or good? When I got involved in the discussion, I told them that those things are irrelevant. What is relevant is that under Section 37, fundamental human rights of our Constitution, the privacy of your home, the privacy of your correspondences, the privacy of your telephone conversation, and the privacy of your telegraphic message is guaranteed and protected by who? Government. And the government is helping, like the Minister for Information, whom I understand is a lawyer. I don't know whether it is true or false, but they say he's a lawyer. He's helping to discuss, propagate private discussion of somebody and using it as something. Shouldn't he be jailed for that? Invasion of privacy in the colonial era. I know some people went to 7 years in prison because they read another person's private letter. Yet, I said Section 37 of the present Constitution guarantees privacy of your home. But you know, this very day when they came, they did a sort of operation thing and invaded the houses of judges in the middle of the night. Not by coming in normally by knocking, even if it's in the house, but by pushing down the door and frightening the people and making all sorts of allegations against them. And the public didn't react. And if you were a judge and you received that type of treatment, don't you know you're an endangered species?
True.
So when we complain about judges and all these things, we should think about what role have the citizens to play to protect things. Like a governor doesn't pay salaries or pensions, and he gets away with it, and comes to another election. Okay, with the cash crunch, I understand APC won in many places. Whether they rigged it or not, if the other people were not sleeping, the people are still how come it that after that punishment, which International Monetary Fund, the World Bank warned that thing will cause the collapse of not less than 113 million more scale industries, including NGOs. But what was the public reaction? I say it may be because of the military intervention in government that the citizens now said governance is no longer they are no longer concerned. They have to be big. So I think the way of this menace is proper education of the citizens.
Okay.
Because the citizen that the mandate is given by the citizens, and issue is who he gives it to.
But
in my own time, Mahmoud would have been dismissed.
Who takes responsibility to educate, reorientate the citizen as it regards to their rights and the Constitution and the instruments of the law?
That's the role you are playing now. And the newspapers, because the advantage of newspapers that is written,
yes,
and can be debated for some time. People can make references to it. By the time they were drawing the 1979 Constitution, many times was realizing it, and other people were realizing it. Even this 1999 was a little celebrate, not as much. I say even to find the Nigerian Constitution is not easy. I don't know whether you have a personal copy.
Yes,
I don't know whether part of it is in there, but to find out a number of your colleagues who have copies. And so when these things, because if people know their rights and are insisting on their rights, a governor cannot come and say he's not paying anybody. And when he goes to court, because you know, okay, let me tell you another thing. Ignorance is coffin. You know that many people do not sue the governor because they say the governor has immunity. But the governor doesn't have any immunity. The person who has the immunity is the person on the seat of the governor.
Yes.
Read section 308. And so when people are hot and they abandon their rights and say, oh, I can't do anything, because most of our people have lost confidence in the court unnecessarily. So try your case, let them decide against you. And I don't think any good judge will see the case very clear and decide against it because there will be a record of that decision.
Well, some have argued that, one, the justice system, particularly here in Nigeria, is slow. Two, not everybody has the resources to be able to embark on lawsuits that will take months, sometimes years, and of course will demand some financial wherewithal.
Okay, not everywhere in the world, not everywhere has it, but those who have resources, what are they doing? I had the privilege of seeing the government, and I had the privilege of government asking me to negotiate out of court with them.
As a civil servant?
Yes. I was retired and I protested that my retirement was wrong, that it was premature. And I went to court. Even one of my sisters, dearest sister, called me with my son in a private place and said, why are you fighting the government? Have you seen anybody fight the government and succeed? And if not, my son is a very quiet person. I would have had commotion in my family. That's my nuclear family. But eventually, when the government negotiated out of court with me now, because they said that the decision, because Attorney General, I go to their library to read. He saw me one day, I said, we will stop you from coming here. Because you come here and read and then use it to fight us. Because if you prepare your case, you can brief your lawyer very well.
True.
And I told him it's all right. If I don't come here to read, since you are a fellow citizen, I'll come to your house and tell you as a government that I'm a friend and your brother. But he's the solicitor and say, we do borrow books from this man too, because I'm a book collector too.
Okay.
And he looked at a joke. But the next thing I got was a letter. We have accepted all you are demanding. But give a guarantee you are disconnecting all the court cases and you will not go to court again. I gave that guarantee in writing. They said no, that I should go to court and decide the one I stated already. And I had to do that, and they paid me every last couple. I changed my date of retirement. So how will I lose faith in such a judiciary? Even though that the judge may have even decided against me, if he did, but it would be too foolhardy of him if he saw the agreement and decided to put that on record. It will be haunting him even in his next war. So when the government felt that it would be a very bad precedent for them, they say, can we discontinue this? Is unnecessary. And I was happy. Because even when they say give another, I quickly signed one. So what am I looking for? I just was looking for my rights. Like when I criticize government, I don't criticize that I'm becoming the president or governor tomorrow. I'm only saying, if you do it this way, it will be better, which is my training as a civil servant.
Yes.
As a civil servant, we are trained in those days. I don't know what they are doing this. Not to be loyal to the person or the governor, but to the state. And to give him the best advice in private so that you can defend it to the best of your ability in public.
Wow.
These days, they don't give them advice. They don't say, no, you can't. I say, GCOK is a late of blessed memory. Refuse a military governor taking money. And he was secretary to government. So you can't. Because where is the provision in your budget? You make the budget. Because you and your executive council make it all those. But until you make it. Because, let me tell you another thing. I'm sorry, it appears I'm taking you off this thing.
No. It's quite an expose.
Let me tell you. You see, in Indiana, Indiana, whatever,
yes.
the former military governor, who was Minister of Defense,
yes.
the woman, they are talking about what they will forfeit. But have they talked about people who helped her to steal those things? Have they talked about the man who was supervising her? Because that's part of the problem of Nigeria. Because in our time, if you help somebody commit a crime, they are that person. Yeah, they are just an accomplice. And if the man is clever enough to deny you, you are on your own. And so anything against the law, we will not. So I think I give another example so I don't take you too off their court, because what you wanted was whether these people should stay for life.
Yeah.
If they are doing well, why should they not stay for life? Experience in lawmaking is a very important thing. But when it's execution, and people who are supposed to execute are the civil servants and other public officers, and the powers are enormous, that a little bias from you can cause a lot of problems. You should be limited.
All right. At this point, really, time not our friend. We're almost out of time. But I really want to appreciate that you make out time to be with us, Comrade Fabian Agba. Your wealth of experience, and I really would love to do this again, especially sharing your experience of how you were able to take the government to court and be able to, prove your case in court as a civil servant. I'm sure many civil servants here in Abia will open their mouth and be like, wow, is this possible? And then what you said most importantly, that the governor for no reason has no excuse whatsoever, because the law ensures that civil servants should be paid their emoluments. And they have the right to take the governor to court. These are exposés that I'm sure those listening to the show will be like, really? We probably didn't know this. So we appreciate that you've emphasized the need for Nigerians across board to know their rights and begin to read up the Constitution as it relates to the instruments of the law and be able to make those demands as of when necessary.
Well, thank you very much. Anytime you need me, I'll be able to talk.
We really
but I will try to repeat myself more strictly this time, so I don't take all the time.
No problem at all. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate that you could make out time for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Bless you too, sir. And that was Comrade Fabian Agba, a frontline human rights and labor leader, and retired permanent secretary from the civil service in Imo State. And he has truly taken us through the rudiments of the law and the Constitution. Very learned, well read, and definitely in the future we will have him back on another edition of Standpoint. Well, that's the much we can take today, and just in a moment it will be Newslight right here on Rapid 96.5 FM. I am Kamil John the Beloved, also known as the Controversial. Remember, we'll be back same time tomorrow.
Y'all, come on.
It is 96.5. It is Rapid. To crank it up, we are turning it up on Rapid FM 96.5. The sound of your city.